What's going on, football fans? It's your host, Bad Takes, with Bad Takes in Football, back with another episode for you. Gonna dive into the Sunday night football game between the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. But before I do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm on my road to my first 100 subscribers. We're building an awesome community here where we talk everything NFL football. Also, to make sure to like and comment on this video. Do you think Kansas City has any shot of making the playoffs? Let's dive into today's video. The Houston Texans went into Kansas City with a 4-game win streak, and they started out hot against the Kansas City Chiefs. In the first half, they went up 10-0, but saw that lead go away really quickly in the third quarter. It became 10-10, and this Kansas City Chiefs team looked like they were on a mission in order to win this game. Lo and behold, in the fourth quarter, the Kansas City Chiefs had 2 turnovers on downs and 2 interceptions, and then their last drive, they weren't able to score and the game had ended. That was not the ending I expected after tying the game 10-10. To me, all the momentum had shifted. The Texans weren't able to really move the ball at all on offense, and somehow in the fourth quarter, that completely changed. Patrick Mahomes had 3 interceptions in this game, so this was one of their first losses that you could actually put on Patrick Mahomes that this Kansas City Chiefs teams has had. Generally, it's the rest of their offense is struggling, and Patrick Mahomes has to do everything he can in order to keep it a close game or to win the game. But again, 3 interceptions in this game, going up against the Houston Texans, who have probably the best defense in the NFL, is somewhat understandable. But at the same time, this is December football, and there's no excuses. You have to find ways to win this game. The Chiefs are now 6-7, and besides the Cincinnati Bengals, have the worst record of any team that is technically not eliminated from the playoffs yet. There is one hopeful situation for this Kansas City Chiefs team, and that's the fact that the Indianapolis Colts might fall out of this playoff run. The Indianapolis Colts lost Daniel Jones to an Achilles injury, and their backup quarterback, Riley Leonard, is injured as well. So they don't even know who's going to start at quarterback for that Colts team. I think it's time for them to call Joe Flacco, but that's a story for another day. Back to this game. When it comes to the Houston Texans, I love this defense. Holding the Kansas City Chiefs team to 10 points is not an easy feat, and to me, I feel like this Texans defense could have done even better. But again, only letting up 10 points is huge on the road against this Kansas City Chiefs team. This Houston Texans team are now on a 5-game win streak, and to me, are looking like the hottest team in the AFC that's going into the playoffs. I know you have teams like the Broncos and the Chargers and the Bills that are looking really good right now, as well as the Patriots. We can't forget about the Patriots. But right now, this Texans team is really hot. I think that this team could cause a lot of problems for teams in the playoffs this year. The AFC South is a really busy bunch. You have the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Colts right up there. Again, I'm really concerned about the Colts with Daniel Jones going down, but you should see this Texans team really fight for the number 1 spot in this division, which would make the Jaguars most likely a wild card team. This Texans team really came on at the end of this season after going 0-3 and 2-5 through their first 5 games. The Houston Texans still have the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Colts left. So they still have plenty of time to get that divisional spot. And to me, that last game against the Colts could be the deciding factor as to whether or not this Houston Texans team wins the division. From a Kansas City perspective, again, they've lost 2 games in a row now. The Kansas City Chiefs still has the Chargers, the Raiders, the Titans, and the Broncos left to play. And so there's still a shot for this Kansas City Chiefs team to make the playoffs, but they actually have to get hot soon. There was a part of me that in the middle of the season thought that the Kansas City Chiefs was going to go on their perennial run where they get hot and go into the playoffs and make a Super Bowl run. But for some reason this year, that didn't happen. There seems to be something different about this Chiefs team. I think a lot of it is their struggles in the run game because they have a great defense. They still have Patrick Mahomes playing at a high level, and they have pretty decent receivers, but they're still not getting that same sort of intimidation factor that they used to have prior seasons. There's something missing about this team. Again, I'm not 100% sure what it is. I know I've mentioned the run game, but I just struggle to understand what really happened with this team. I know their offensive line has had struggles. They've had major injuries. They had 3 linemen out for the game yesterday, and they had another one go down in the first play of the game. So that also might have something to say about why this Chiefs team is struggling. But still, a 6-7 record after making the Super Bowl last year, that's unprecedented territory for this Chiefs team. All signs lead to the fact that this is Travis Kelce's last year of his career. I don't imagine he's going to lace them up for one more year after the season that they've had. I think their Super Bowl window is starting to close a little bit from that perspective, and I don't really see him trying to come back for another one. Patrick Mahomes, to me, I still think that he's going to make this team have a fighting chance at making the playoffs. I just don't think they have the same it factor that they have had in the previous years. I'm going to be really curious to see which team comes out of the AFC after the season that we've had. Is it going to be the Broncos or the Patriots or maybe even the Texans, like I've mentioned? It's really unsure considering the fact that your normal teams that you see at the top, like the Chiefs, like the Ravens, and the Bills, are not there right now. It seems like there's a changing of the guard. There's a lot younger quarterbacks that are leading these teams to the playoffs and leading their teams to leading the division. I'm talking about Bo Nix. I'm talking about Drake May, right? Those are completely different quarterbacks than we're used to seeing at the top of the AFC. This is the way the NFL goes. It's a what have you done for me lately sort of league. And so we're going to start to see some of these stars that we've known for a long time potentially fade out into the distance. This Texans team is a perfect example of that. CJ Stroud, he's in his 3rd year. Everyone talked about how last year he had a sophomore slump, but they still made the playoffs last year. And again, it looks like they're right on their way this year. They have really good wide receiver talent. And again, they have the best defense in the NFL, if not the second best defense. And so I think this Texans team is going to be here to stay for a while. And it's going to be really hard for teams like the Ravens and like the Chiefs to be able to catch back up because they have so much young talent over there. What do you think about what happened last night? Do you think this is the end of the Chiefs era? That's it for me today. Thank you again for watching. This is Bad Takes with Bad Takes in Football, signing out.